A very good morning to my dear student. So, today early in the morning, I've sent some question answers of two sections, that is land and labor. So, hope you have completed all the question answer. If not, then do it later on. So, today we will be discussing about our second chapter. Okay. Before jumping to the second chapter, so let me give a brief summary about the chapter. So in this chapter, you will be studying about demand. The chapter name is Theory of Demand. So in this chapter, of course, you will study about the meaning of demand, the determinants of demand, means what are the causes for the demand, what are the things, the factors which influence the demand, that is called determinants of demand. Further, we will study about the types of demand, different types of demand. More, we will be moving towards the individual demand, types of individual demand, market demand. Then we will go through the curves as schedule: individual demand schedule, market demand schedule, individual demand curve, market demand curve. We'll go through this. Then after that, we'll be going towards the movement and shift of the demand curve. Movement and shift of the demand curve. The movement and shift of the demand curve. This will be our last section, of the chapter. Today we will be discussing some of the point of the chapter. So the chapter name is Theory of Demand. So here we will discuss about the meaning. We will discuss about the meaning. We will discuss about types, and we will discuss about the determinants of demand. So these are the points we will be discussing today. So let us continue with our chart which I prepared for you all. As you can see the chart, which is right in front of you. So what does the demand states? So see here, demand, it is the quantities of that commodity which consumers are willing and able. See here, quantities of that commodity which consumers are willing and able to purchase at different prices during a given period of time. The word willing and able to purchase. The word willing and able to purchase is the main focus of the demand. If the person doesn't have the willing or don't have the money to buy the product, then it becomes a desire. So anything which is backed by money, any commodity which is backed by money is called as want. And when you demand for the product, means when you willingly asked for the product at any given time period, and you have the able to get the product, it is called as demand. So when you are able to get the product willingly with any given time period, it is called as demand. So if you don't have money and if you see the product, yes, and you wish for, yes, if I had that product, then that is a desire. Want and desire both are different. An effective desire becomes a want. When a desire becomes an effective, means when the desire to purchase a mobile, you have the desire to purchase an expensive mobile. So after doing a saving, lots of saving, okay, you accumulate the sum of money, and when you have the ample money for purchasing that mobile, then that becomes want. So an effective desire becomes an want. Okay, and that leads to demand. Okay, that leads to demand. So here is what it is. It is the quantities of the commodity which the consumers are willing and able to purchase at different prices. Okay, at different prices during a given period of time. It is called as demand. So types of demand. So individual demand and market demand. Individual demand and market demand. So what is individual demand? See, just you to make a slight change from here. Just when you see the demand, you to make a slight change. So it is the quantities of that commodity which the individual consumers, what do you write? Instead of which consumers, instead here individual consumer, you write which individual consumers is willing, it won't be is willing and able to purchase at different prices during a given time period. Okay, this is what, just if you are learning this definition, then you can answer two more definitions, individual and market. Two more definitions you can add to this. With one, you can add two more. Just you to make a slight change. With individual, if you add here individual. And when it comes to market, so it is the quantities of that commodity, okay, where the whole consumers, okay, a group of consumers, the whole consumers or group of consumers are willing and able to purchase at different prices during a given period of time. Okay, this way you will do. Understood? Demand, types of demand. First individual demand, then it is market demand. Just what you are changing here, you are changing just individual here, and in terms of individual here you are writing individual, and instead of R you are writing is, and in terms of market demand, okay, where whole consumers or group of consumers, just this much. Okay, next joint demand. Next it is joint demand. You can see joint demand is there. Okay, when a commodity is jointly demanded with some other commodity. Okay, when a commodity is jointly demanded with some other commodity, like jointly, okay, car and petrol. Car and petrol, they are used jointly. If you are purchasing a car, so you know petrol is required. Without petrol, the car is useless. Without petrol, car is useless. So car is at most important. Car is at most important. Okay, car is at most important, as well as petrol is also. So petrol is the essential commodity for the car. So they are used jointly. Okay, they are used jointly. They are not used separately. Okay, next you come to derived demand. Okay, so derived demand, so it is the things needed to producing other commodity. It is the things needed to or required to producing other commodity. Means these are used in the process of production. Means they act as an input, you can say. Like derived, for construction of one thing you require different items. Means you are demanding different items. For construction of one thing you are demanding different items. Take example, okay, you are constructing a building. So when the construction of building goes on, so what do you require? You require labor force. Yes, you require a land, as well as you require capital also. Okay, so just take example, you just thought about construction of building. So after when you thought about construction of building, so who came? So many demand it arrived. Yes or no? It is automatic. It is automatic. The demand will arrive automatic. Okay, just like price mechanism, it is also here. The demand will operate automatic. Thus, one building and so many things are demanded at a time. Land is required for construction of building, labor is required to do the work, as well as the capital is required, which can functions in making the building. Okay, so this is called as a derived demand. Next, composite demand. Okay, the demand for commodity which can be put to several uses. It can be put to several uses. Like, take example, steel. Steel is the best example. With the help of steel, you can make the window pane, you can make the furniture, you can make the utensils, you can make the racks, and so many different items are there which you can utilize steel. Means the product is one, but there are several uses. There are several uses. Okay, so these are called as composite demand. So, as I wrote here, joint demand. Two or more goods used jointly. The used jointly, derived demand arises because of the demand for some other commodity, like building I told you. Composite demand, they have multiple uses, like just now I told you, the steel. Understood? Next, determinants of demand. Determinants of demand. Price of the commodity. See here, the price of the commodity and the quantity demanded for the commodity, they have inverse relation. Inverse means indirect relation. Inverse means indirect relation. They don't have a direct relation. When the price of the commodity is high, the demand for the product goes down. And when the price of the commodity is low, the demand for the product becomes high. So, price of the commodity is the most important factor of the demand. Okay, price of the commodity. Understood? Price of the commodity and the demand for the quantity demanded, they have inverse relation, means opposite relation, indirect relation. They don't go hand in hand together. Okay? When the price is high, the demand goes down, and when the price is low, the demand rises up. Income of the consumer. Okay, the income of the consumer and the demand for the quantity demanded, they also have, they have the direct relation, but depends upon the commodity. What kind of commodity you're going to purchase? Okay, their income of the consumer, is divided into three of the kind of commodity: normal goods, inferior goods, inexpensive necessities of life. Say normal goods. Normal goods are those goods, which are used generally by the people. Like, say about furnitures, it is used. The comfortable goods means furnitures, fan, AC, television, refrigerator. These are all comfortable goods, as well as the necessary goods. The clothing and all, it is also required. And luxuries of life also. Luxuries of life, car and all, it is also required. So these all comes in normal goods. So when the income of the consumer increases, then demand for the normal goods also increases. And when the income of the consumer falls down, then the demand for the normal goods also falls down. Next, inferior goods. Inferior goods means low quality goods. Mostly these goods are used, or these goods are purchased mostly by the poor people, because these goods are cheaper than the normal goods. It can be easily fetched by the poor people due to low cost. So due to low cost, it is available in the market, and the people, those who are poor enough, they purchase inferior goods. And suppose if the income of the consumer increases, will they go for inferior goods? No, they won't be going for inferior goods. If the income of the consumer decreases, in that case, from normal goods, they will jump towards inferior goods. Okay, they will cut the consumption of normal goods, they will jump to inferior goods. And inexpensive necessities of life. Inexpensive necessities of life, okay, are those goods, okay, whose demand doesn't changes, whether the price is too high or whether the price is too low. Example, salt. Salt is an example for that, best example for that. Suppose the price of the salt increases too high, very high. Will the people give lesser salt in the food? Okay, the price of the salt is very high, so just a pinch of salt. Okay, it will do. It will work. It will not work. It is not going to work at all. And if the price of the salt is very, very low, then what people will go and purchase lots of salt. Yes, give me, because it is very cheap. Give me lots of salt so that I can put more salt on the food, because it is very, very cheap. Will the people do? No. So how much is required? Okay, that much only the householder they will use in the food. Okay, and whatever the price is, whether the price is too high or too low, the people are going to purchase same quantity of the salt. Same quantity of the salt. Okay, this is what inexpensive necessities of life. Next, consumers' taste and preferences. Consumers' taste and preferences also affects the demand for the commodity. If the consumer dislike the product, if the consumer dislikes the product, then the consumer will jump his or her taste, okay, from one good to another good. Okay, one good to another good. Suppose the consumer likes, okay, strawberry ice cream, and one likes, okay, chocolate ice cream. So the demand for strawberry ice cream as well as chocolate ice cream will fluctuate. How fluctuate? The larger number of consumer who demands chocolate ice cream will go for chocolate ice cream. Means the demand for chocolate ice cream will be more than the strawberry ice cream. Suppose in that, okay, the consumer who are using chocolate ice cream, now they are fed up with chocolate ice cream. Now they want to change the taste and preferences. Now they are going for vanilla ice cream. So what is happening? The demand for chocolate ice cream, it goes down. The demand for chocolate ice cream, it goes down. And what is happening? The demand for vanilla ice cream, it is increasing. Why? Because the taste and preference of the consumer, it is changing, or it changed. Okay, this is what the consumer's taste and preferences. Okay, next, it is price of related goods. Okay, price of related goods. Price of related goods are divided into two: substitute goods and complementary goods. Substitute goods. So, what are substitute goods? Substitute goods are those goods which are used in place of other goods. Substitute goods are those goods which are used in place of other goods. Okay, like tea and coffee. If tea is not there, then coffee can make up. You can go with coffee. Okay. Suppose the price of the tea rises too much in the market. Okay. Rises too much in the market. Then what the people will go for? People will go for the coffee. But in the same price, they are getting the coffee also and they are getting the tea also. So why not we prefer coffee rather than tea? So people will move towards coffee. Suppose now the price of the coffee, it rises too high, very high in the market. Then the people will come back, they will back down and they will go for again tea. Okay, this is what substitute goods. Okay, which are replaced or used in place of other goods. Next, complementary goods. Complementary goods are those goods which are used together. As we have earlier studied, joint joint demand. Same is here, complementary goods. Okay, which are used together, like car and petrol I told. Okay, the pen and ink you can say. Okay, the car and petrol. If the price of the petrol, if the price of the petrol rises in the market, then the demand for the car in the market it decreases. It decreases, and when the price of the petrol decreases in the market, the purchasing power of the car among the people it increases. Okay, this is the relation. Okay, complementary goods. Next, consumers' expectations. Consumers' expectation means future expectation. If the consumer is thinking that in the coming future the price of the good is going to rise, then what the consumer will do? The consumer will think that okay, better to purchase the good in present only. In advance, the consumer will purchase the good and keep in stock. Why? Because they are knowing that in the coming future the price of the good is rising, is going to rise. Okay. So, and if just opposite, if the consumer is thinking that in the coming future the price of the good is going to fall, it will become low, then presently they will purchase less of the commodity because they don't want to spend more of the commodity because they know that in the coming future the price is going to fall down. Okay, when the price is going to fall down, they will demand less, and when the price is going to increase, they will demand more in the future. Okay, so this is what consumers expectation. Okay, this is what is there in today's syllabus. Okay, hope you have understood. So meaning of demand, okay, quantities, okay, willingness, able to purchase, different prices, these are important factor. Types of demand: individual demand, market demand, joint demand, derived demand, composite demand. Okay, then determinants of demand: price of the commodity, income of the consumer, subsection: normal goods, inferior goods, inexpensive necessities of life. Number 3, consumer's taste and preferences. Number 4, price of related goods, substitute goods, complementary goods, and then number 5 is your consumer's expectation. Okay, it means future expectations. Okay, hope you have understood. Okay, the chapter. So coming week I'm going to take a test, so be prepared. Okay, the timing and all everything it will be announced in a group. Thank you.